What's up, guys? Shockwave640 here, and today I return. Kind of. I know I've been gone for like a year almost, or it's been about a year. But a lot of things have happened recently. Just a bunch of different stuff was going on. I was finally able to get some of the stuff I needed to start recording again, so I'm gonna try to pre-record a whole bunch of videos so I can upload them. I've only got this recording studio right here that have this set up right here. I've only got it for like a month or so, so it's only gonna be temporary for my return. Anyways, I'm doing perfectly fine. If anybody was worried about why I vanished again, just running into a lot of different stuff throughout life. You know, if life's hard. Not always easy, but it's all right. I'm doing good now. Everything is fine now. So there is going to be some future changes going on with my channel. Me and a really good friend of mine are planning on creating a channel together that is going to be centered around doing things like comedy skits, some Let's Plays maybe, lots of stuff with Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop RPGs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know what's going to happen with this channel once that gets off the ground. It's still going to be a while from now before that is set up, but I'll let you guys know. If you guys want to keep up with me or anything, or if you're interested, there's a link down in the description below with my Instagram on it. And I don't post there very often or do anything there very often, but if you ever just want to see what I'm up to sometimes, click the link and check it out if you'd like to. But anyways, I am back for a little bit, but let's focus on the actual figure that you can see before you. If you guys want me to make like a follow-up video to this about saying where I've been and what's been going on, post down in the comments below and let me know. But without further ado, let's take a look at this figure here. So today we're going to be taking a look at something I don't really do very often. Usually I do Transformers or Gundam reviews, but I wanted to do something simple for my first review back. And we have the Star Wars Black Series IG-88, which is a bounty hunter from the original trilogy for Star Wars. If you guys didn't know, he is an assassin droid. He was seen with Boba Fett, Gengar, Bosk, and a few other characters in a very famous scene. He didn't do anything or say anything, he just kind of stood there, but here is a figure that represents him. It's a very nice figure. For as far as Star Wars Black Series go, as you can see, he is kind of here doing a gangster lean going on. That's because for some reason, I'm not sure if this is just my figure or if it's how all of the IG-88 or Assassin Droid molds are, but one of his legs is longer than the other one, which I'll show you guys in just a little bit. But before we go into any of that, I'm going to start off with the size comparisons. It's just easier to start it off that way. So first off, because you guys know I like to do completely random size comparisons that don't make any sense, but this guy is actually quite tall. Here he is with Transformers Siege Spinister. You can see he's taller than Spinister at the head, but not taller than his propellers. He is a little bit taller than this back section here, just barely the top of the cone of his head. So you can see this character is really, really tall. This is about a $20 figure regularly. I got mine on eBay for about the same price. But here he is with Spinister. Just because here he is with a Funko Pop. We got Shadow the Hedgehog, which of course he's going to be taller than that because Funko Pops aren't usually that big. Keeping it random, with something a little bit more recent, we have the new Studio Series Jet Shattered, which is starting to pop up in stores all over the place now, around where I live anyways. He's about the same length as her in her jet mode. She's a little bit longer there at the tail fins, so to let you know about how big he is. He's pretty much about the size of a deluxe Transformer, just a little bit taller. And because you guys know I like to, of course we're going to do a Gundam size comparison, if I can grab it. So here he is with the Super Deformed Cross Silhouette RX-78-2. He towers over that, of course. Super Deformed Gundams aren't very tall, but there's that. And that's it for the size comparisons. Now let's get in and take a look at the details, and then we'll move on to the articulation and then the accessories. So, getting up close, you can see he looks really, really dark on camera, and I have as much lighting as I can get without it casting huge shadows in the background. He's much lighter colored than this. In actual hand, he's not so like dark gunmetal color. He's kind of more of a dull silver. Let's start with taking a look at the head. I'm not entirely sure what the front of his head is supposed to be. I'm assuming it's with this little nub right here. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a wire or something that's on the back of his head, but I just have it on the front. You can see here there are a whole bunch of eyes and sensors going on, protruding from his head. His head only rotates at this one point down here at the neck. Unfortunately, this top section does not rotate, which it would have been nice if it did, but it doesn't. It's fine though. So you can see there. Take a look at the details. You can see it's got a very nice, sparkly and shiny gunmetal finish onto it. Moving down his body or his chest here, you can see it's got more of that silver and gunmetal paint going on. This middle section here with this like little poison syringes, if I remember correctly, is a soft plastic. You can kind of see, you can definitely see here on the shoulder, but there is a little bit of a very light gold paint kind of spread out throughout the figure. Like he's got some on his bicep here, a little bit there on his shoulder, at the top of some of these syringes. Sometimes you can kind of see it, but he does have it on one of the parts of his head up here. And then moving down his body, you can see he's got some very flexible hoses that are also made of the same material as these syringes here. Going down his arms are a little bit asymmetrical. You can see his hand here, or his little claw. Nothing here moves, but we'll get into that later on. You can see his other arm. You can see how it's asymmetrical. It's got this part sticking out a little bit more, and his fingers or his claws are a little bit different. And then going down his legs, you can see his little thigh armor. You can see the gold paint. You can see it really well on this thigh right here. It wraps around all the way to the back there. Continuing to move down, you got more of these hoses going on around here. And then you can see how his legs are asymmetrical. And you can see what I mean whenever I say his legs are not the same length. There you go. You can see it's really, really bad. This leg right here is a lot shorter than the other leg. I don't know why. It looks like it's a problem with the molding here. As you can see, it's also kind of bent all weirdly because these Star Wars Black Series figures, as well as the Marvel Legends figures, use a very soft, squishy plastic, and things get warped really easily in the heat and just being in their containers. So it's probably something to do with that, or it's just the way he's molded is weird. But moving down to see the details here on his feet, I think this is the front of his foot. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this or this. I have it like this because the details on the front, and I'm assuming that would be the front of his foot. Moving at the back, there's not much going on, just a couple of hinges and whatnot. Got some more piping details and some pistons. You got some canisters, which I guess there's some kind of probably gas explosives or something of that sort. And pretty much all the same things you've seen on the front. He's not really all that different on the back. Now, articulation-wise, he's got quite a bit of articulation, a lot more than I thought he would, but he could also be much, much better. Of course, the head does do a full 360, does not move up and down or side to side. It is just on a simple little swivel here. And he doesn't have a waist joint, but he has a chest swivel. It can do a full 360, but I would not recommend doing the full 360 because, as you can see, it does kind of collide in here, and it might rub off the paint. Now, he also has not even an ab crunch, it's like a chest crunch. It is useful for making him look up and down if you want to, but I don't really know if that really matters for the assassin droids because they've got so many eyes looking in all the different directions. I think it's more so just for dynamic poses. It is placed weirdly, but I guess they couldn't really do anything else just due to the nature of his design. They've already sacrificed a little bit here of his design for the sake of articulation. Moving up to his arms, they both have the exact same articulation. They can do a full 360 up here at the shoulder. This little shoulder bit here is a separate piece. I'm sure you could probably pull it off if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it though. His arms can go out that far unless you rotate that little shoulder piece here, then you can get his arms to go all the way up, but I don't know why you would bother doing that when you can just make his arms go up like this. Now, he does not have a bicep swivel, but he does have a swivel here right at the elbow, and he does actually have an elbow bend, as you can see. It only gets a little bit under 90 degrees just because of the way this works. It is a softer rubbery plastic here covering up one of the joints they usually put on these kind of figures. I'm sure it probably could get a 90-degree angle if that wasn't there, but with that there, it only gets about 90, so that is pretty cool. I'm not sure how this is going to hold up over time if you were constantly posing him and playing with him, so I would exercise some caution with that part right there. Now, moving down the body, his legs are a huge letdown, in my opinion. Not only are they limited by just having a pretty crappy design for as far as an action figure goes, it's just these hoses here limit the articulation a lot. So we're gonna go with this leg first because this is the leg that's not really all that hindered. It can go forward about that far. It can't even kick out all the way, but it's fine given the design of this version of the assassin droid. It's not really that bad. His leg goes out about, it goes back about the same distance. He does have, I think he does have a thigh swivel. Yeah, he has a thigh swivel, but it's very limited. You're only really going to get this much out of it. I don't want to force it because it might break something. He does have double jointed knees. On this side, he can do the double bend just fine, as you can see. Very nice bend there. You can see the hose here just flexes and moves out of the way as you wish. And then down at his feet, which are both the same, it can move up about that far, move down about that far, and the foot can also rotate. There is no ankle tilt, which does not matter because his legs do not swing outward, which is the major disappointment here. He only moves forward and back here at the legs. No outward movement whatsoever. If you want the legs to move out at all, you have to like rotate the thigh and then bend the knees and then like rotate the feet so that way they can kind of do that. It's very hard to pose this guy because he's so top heavy and his legs are so skinny and his feet are tiny. So posing this guy is not the funnest thing ever, but he just looks amazing in my opinion. Now for this leg, the hose does get in the way of how far the leg moves forward. As you can see, it starts to bunch up there at the hip, so that is a bit of a bummer. The thigh swivel here feels a little bit better. It's not as hindered because the hose isn't sticking out of the thigh itself. The knee is very tight on this side, but you're really not gonna get much more than that. As you can see, it's already stretching that hose there, and you can move it out of the way, but you're still stretching this hose right here, and you're still stretching the hose here. So I would not recommend trying to force that to bend all the way, or you may snap one of those hoses. And then the foot is exactly the same. So the articulation is decent. It's a whole lot better than what I think most people thought he was going to have, which makes sense. Given the design of this figure, I wouldn't have expected him to have crazy ninja-like posability like the Star Wars The Clone Wars version of this character had. Those Assassin's droids are amazing. I had one as a kid. I do not have him anymore. I plan on buying another one though, just because I think it's a really cool figure, and we'll probably review it as well and compare it with this guy. But let's move on to the accessories now. He does come with quite a bit. You can see he comes with his, we'll set him off to the side. He comes with his little bandolier. You can see it's got some, like some mines on it. Maybe these are some ammo mags. You can see some clips and stuff, all very nicely painted. And the bandolier itself made out of some kind of reptile skin, maybe one of Bosk's species or something. That would be interesting. To equip it onto him, when you buy the figure, it's probably going to have it equipped already. I just took it off for the sake of the review. You want to raise up this arm here and tilt his body, raise his arm up like this and tilt his body down. You want to make sure that you get it to where the peg here is going to go into this hole there on his shoulder. So just feed his arm and head straight through that. I put it on upside down. Put it on just like this because you want the bandolier there on the back. Straighten him out. Get it to where that little peg there on the bandolier itself goes into that little hole in his shoulder to hold that in place. And there you have him with his little bandolier section, which looks very nice. I do quite like that. The next accessory, which is probably the one that's the most useless, and I think it's just there for movie accuracy, is his vibro blade, I believe is what they call this, which looks amazing. I love the detail going on there on the blade. It definitely looks very well used, a little bit scuffed up as well. And then you've got the gold handle. It feels like this should be able to be wielded by him. It's got a little peg here on the end. But his hands, they cannot hold this weapon. As you can see, they do not have anything to really hold it. So if you want him to hold it, he can kind of do it like that, I guess. But that's about the only way he's going to be able to wield the little vibro blade or vibro axe or whatever they called it. I don't exactly remember. It's mainly just supposed to be stored to make him look screen accurate. You do just feed the handle through these holes here, just like that, and it will come to a natural stopping point. I don't remember how he's supposed to have the blade. I think in the movie it was facing this way, just like that, and that's how I personally prefer to have it. So there you go. It's right there. It does not lock into place or anything. I mean, it won't really fall out, but it's not actually locked in there very well. But it works. The next weapon he comes with is just a standard blaster. It looks like the kind of blaster maybe a stormtrooper would use, or a clone trooper blaster, I think, because I do believe the assassin droids came out around the time of the Clone Wars, so it would make sense for him to be wielding this rifle. He can hold it. As you can see, there is 2 little pegs there on the back. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there are 2 little holes there. On both of his wrists, he has a little peg. Little peg there. He did have 2 pegs on this arm, but I don't know what happened to the other one. I think it snapped off, but he can hold his gun in either hand. It's more suited for this hand because with this one, the handle, it doesn't really quite fit in there, so he is supposed to hold it in this hand. You just plug it in like so. I'm trying to find the hole. There we go. And there you go. He's holding the rifle, and he is not going to be letting that go anytime soon. So that is very nice. I do quite like that. But this rifle, or this blaster, is supposed to be stored back here on the bandolier. You simply just feed it through, just like that, and it will kind of lock into place and hold on very nicely. And you can see there on his back. And the last accessory that he comes with, which is his more iconic gun, I think, is a sniper rifle. Both of the guns don't have any paint on them, unfortunately. It would have been nice if they had a little bit of a silver wash or something, but I do think this is accurate. I think they're just solid black, but very nice looking gun here. I do quite like it. Very hard to see the details just due to it being all black, and both guns are very thin and cheap feeling, but it gets the job done. This gun can be held in either hand. Just plugging it in right here. It doesn't really work on this hand, so it's like both guns are made for a specific hand. He can't really hold it in this one very well just because the stock of the gun does get in the way there of his wrist. But it does fit in just fine on this side, just like that. And you can see he can hold his little sniper rifle. You can have him holding it across his torso, or he can throw it. Whatever you want to do, it's fine. Again, I don't have any other Star Wars Black Series figures to compare him to, unfortunately. I wish I did have more. It's just the line hasn't really appealed to me all that much. If I only really got any figures, it'd probably just be Boba Fett or Jango Fett. Some of the other droids in the series, maybe. That's really all they have interested character-wise as far as owning a figure goes. But there we have the Star Wars Black Series IG-88. Very nice figure. I do definitely recommend him. I would not pay more than $20 for him, maybe $25 at the most. He's not the greatest figure in the world in terms of quality and in terms of articulation, but he looks really, really cool, as you can clearly see. But anyways, that's about it, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and also if you like what I do, if you like my other reviews, you can check them out as well. Go ahead and subscribe if you like my channel. If you don't, then don't subscribe, or if you don't like these long periods of waiting, then go ahead and unsubscribe. It's whatever you guys want to do. If you guys have any kind of suggestions or anything different you'd like to see me do with the channel, go ahead and leave some comments down below, or maybe go check out my Instagram, which again, the link is down there in the description. You can check that out as well and see what's going on. Try to contact me there. I always answer my comments even when I'm not able to record videos. I always answer my comments on both Instagram and YouTube as well. So I will always be around to answer you guys' questions. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for this review, and I will catch you later. So see you later, my little Logicons.